June 17, 2015, it's a day that is now etched in the cornerstones of Charleston's history.
A gunman opened fire on a Bible study group inside Emmanuel AME Church in downtown Charleston. When it was all over, 9 people, pastors, husbands, mothers, fathers, were dead.
It's a tragedy that gained the attention of the world and sparked a much-needed conversation on race and gun violence. News 2's Octavia Mitchell takes a look back at the Emmanuel AME massacre.
What started out as a normal Wednesday in the Holy City turned into a horrifying night of evil.
Obviously, let me say this is the worst night of my career. This is clearly a tragedy in the city of Charleston, and we are all praying, and our hearts go out to the victims and their families, as well as this entire community.
An unknown man is welcomed into a Bible study at Mother Emanuel on Calhoun Street, a historic church, the oldest African Methodist Episcopal church in the South. 14 people were in the church at the time, including the pastor, State Senator Reverend Clemente Pinckney. The gunman sat with the Bible study group for an hour. Then at around 9 p.m., he opened fire, leaving 9 people dead.
We want the entire community to pray for safety for our people, and that we would hope that this person who has committed this heinous crime, which is a hate crime, be brought to justice. So we stand in solidarity, but we also solicit your prayers for the family members who have lost loved ones here tonight.
State Senator Reverend Clemente Pinckney, Cynthia Graham Hurd, Bible study member and manager for the Charleston County Public Library System, Susie Jackson, a Bible study and church choir member, Ethel Lee Lance, a maintenance leader for the church, DePayne Middleton Doctor, a pastor who was also employed as a school administrator and admissions coordinator, Tywanza Sanders, a Bible study member, grandnephew of Susie Jackson, Daniel Simmons, a pastor, Sharonda Coleman Singleton, a pastor, also a speech therapist and track coach at Goose Creek High School, and Myra Thompson, a Bible study teacher.
Our hearts are hurting. Many folks are disillusioned, but we know that God is still able.
5 other victims survived. Tywanza's mother, Felicia Sanders, grabbed her granddaughter and played dead while the gunman murdered her family. The shooter encountered another church member on the way out, Polly Shepard. He told her, "I will leave you alive to tell the story about what happened here." Reverend Pinckney's wife, Jennifer, and daughter escaped by hiding under a desk in her husband's office. The next morning, a sobbing Governor Nikki Haley addressed the state.
We woke up today and the heart and soul of South Carolina was broken.
Later that day, police released this screenshot from surveillance video of the suspect, later identified as 21-year-old Dylan Roof from Lexington. Hours later, authorities arrested Roof in Shelby, North Carolina, where he later confessed that he committed the shooting in hopes of starting a race war. Charleston Mayor Joe Riley did not mince words when describing the suspect.
Terrible human being.
Friday, 2 days after the massacre, Roof appeared in bond court. One after the other, the families of the victims spoke and extended mercy and forgiveness.
I forgive you. You took something very precious away from me. I will never talk to her ever again. I will never be able to hold her again. But I forgive you. And have mercy on your soul.
In the days following, an outpouring of love and support from around the world. Flowers, cards, expressions of love.
Everybody's just coming together. It's an amazing thing. I know there's some things being said on national news that seem to be inflammatory and things, but I mean, this is Charleston. Folks coming together, loving on each other.
In a historic display of unity, about 10,000 people gathered to join hands on the Ravenel Bridge. Young and old, people from across the country stretched the length of the bridge to show the world Charleston is strong. For an entire week, the victims were laid to rest. President Barack Obama delivered the eulogy for State Senator Reverend Clemente Pinckney.
We are here today to remember a man of God who lived by faith.
And honored all the victims.
Good people. Decent people. God-fearing people.
As the city of Charleston continues to heal, the Holy City's grace, love, and strength remains a beacon for many.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound.
The suspect, Dylan Roof, published an online manifesto detailing his belief on race. It included pictures of him posing with emblems associated with white supremacy, including the Confederate flag.
The Justice Department called the mass shooting a hate crime and charged him with 33 federal hate crime charges. He's also charged with 9 counts of murder by the state of South Carolina. If Roof is convicted, he could face a sentence of death or life in prison.
The shooting sparked off a series of events on the topic of race relations, including visits to the Holy City by several celebrities.
One of the most prominent topics of conversation after the shooting was focused on the Confederate flag flying on South Carolina State House grounds. Here's a look at how the battle over the flag came to an end.
This is who we are. This is who we are proud to be. I mean, and in the South, you stand with us or you stand against us.
You represent that hatred for having that flag on your shoulder.
They did not wear uniforms.
I don't justify any of that. All that was a bad
Then why you carry their flag?
This flag is about the men who died.
And their weapons were T-shirts, signs, and the Confederate flag.
Let me talk. You said you had your say. Let me have mine.
This debate had all the markings of a battle.
Bring it down now!
They're calling us haters. They're calling us racist. They're talking about the slave issues. Those are the hateful people down there.
Many people believe blood was still being shed over this banner, even though the Civil War ended centuries ago. 9 people had been shot to death after they welcomed a man into their Bible study at Emmanuel AME Church in Charleston. He wanted to incite a race war. In the days following the massacre, many people charged that the shooter's repeated display of the Confederate flag proved the banner's ability to keep a community divided.
Unfortunately, it took a tragedy, the massacre in Charleston, to bring this nonsensical rag, as I've always called it, to the forefront.
But the battle over this banner started long ago. It was raised in the South Carolina State House chambers in 1938, the Senate in 1956. It was placed over the South Carolina State House in 1962 to commemorate the Civil War centennial. During the 1970s, 80s, and 90s, organizations and individuals pushed to bring the flag down, even boycotting events held in South Carolina. In 2000, the Senate voted to take down the flag and move it to a monument on South Carolina State House grounds. Then, Civil War reenactors raised an infantry battle flag at the Confederate Soldier Monument directly in front of the South Carolina State House. A 2000 compromise said it could only be lowered with the approval of the state legislature. 15 days after the shooting at Mother Emanuel, the momentum to take down the flag could not be stopped. A member of the legislature passionately pleaded for the flag to come down.
To do something meaningful.
June 22, 2015, surrounded by families and survivors of the Mother Emanuel massacre and lawmakers from both sides of the aisle and every corner of the state, South Carolina's first woman governor made another mark on this state's history.
July 4th is just around the corner. Soon we will once again celebrate the birth of our nation and of our freedoms. It will be fitting that our state capitol will soon fly the flags of our country and of our state and no others.
Thousands captured the event on their cell phones, the symbolic end to an epic feud and centuries of conflict, ended ceremonially in 6 minutes, July 10th, 2015.
The Confederate battle flag was removed from its 54-year home at the Capitol and placed at the Confederate Relic Room and Military Museum.
Stay with us. We have more big stories from 2015.